Welcome back, my Pro Guides family. It's Dan here with another juicy video. In 7.27c, it was no secret that offlane players were farming MMR like an AM does creeps. The 2 at a time picking phases and the undeniable brokenness of the S-tier heroes made it the best pub offlaner patch in the history of the game. It was fun while it lasted, but 7.27d brought it all to no, it's still offlane season out here. But before we talk more about that, the question of the day: who is the best offlaner in the game? Can I still say universe? I know he's retired, but he's a contender for the GOAT. Offlane mains, be strong, don't cry, we're in this together. Let's recap what happened to our broken bros. Acceptance is the final step before healing. Doom lost 1 second of Scorched Earth duration. His level 10 talent went from plus 13% to plus 10% move speed on Scorched Earth. Lost 1 HP regen at all levels from Devour. That's not that bad. 1 HP regen off Devour equates to 1 less HP regen all game since it's 100% uptime. The duration is Losing the move speed hurts a lot. Okay, actually this all adds up to be pretty bad. It does hurt and makes it a lot harder for mid-Doom to just regen through what should be bad matchups, but kind of weren't because he just farmed anyway. 1 less duration also makes it that much harder to farm multiple camps or waves with Scorched Earth. Surge got destroyed. It can now only set the target to haste move speed. Compare this to before when you had a 1000 MS Sven throwing Usain Bolt stuns. The 15 Ion Shell talent now gives 350, down from 400 HP to the target. This does hurt, but we're sure this talent is still OP. We predict Dark Seer to still be strong, but way less abusable with coordinated teams. Everything else was untouched. These aren't as bad as Doom's nerfs. Magnus just straight up lost 25% of his right click damage, and you know what? He's still fine. Don't get me wrong, that's one of the biggest nerfs I've ever seen, but Mag was just so busted that it's still fine, particularly for offlane. IceFrog probably is trying to push Mag back to being primarily an offlaner instead of mid and carry. You were almost never having to go any form of right click as offlane Mag, since surely your mid and or carry have great synergy with Empower. And Empower did not get nerfed for your allies, only on Mag himself. He lost his HP talent at 10 and got something so trash that I don't even want to mention it. Okay, I'll mention it so we can both laugh together. 0.3 seconds slow on Shockwave. I've never seen anything that small. The armor loss at level 20 hurts and means AC is a lot more needed. Venomancer had the bounty on his Plague Wards increased by about 5 gold. The slow and damage on Poison Sting were both decreased by 2 at all levels. The mana cost on Plague Wards now scales up to 26. Okay, this might be the worst nerf of the patch. And the data would agree. Already Veno is down 3 full % in win rate, more than any hero offlane or otherwise. Plague Wards were way too cheap in mana cost, I'll agree with that, but that doesn't mean Venomancer didn't have mana problems. He did. It's just that this spell wasn't the reason for it. It was Gale and your ult causing issues. Now, wards just cost 30% more mana. In one life, you could easily use wards 40 plus times. As we say in our Veno guide, this is a spell that is perfect for spamming off cooldown to use as mini observer wards. Now, every life you're spending like 240 more mana if you cast this off cooldown, and that's a low estimate. The damage and slow nerf is even more painful. He'll survive, but this hurts. So you're an Underlord player. You scroll down to the letter U. You see a ton of text. Your heart drops to the bottom of your stomach. You know your boy is about to be massacred. Wait, what's this? Nerfs and buffs? What's the meaning of all this? You heard it here first. Underlord is not nerfed. Yes, his early laning stage is worse, but his late game got better. Let's recap what happened. Firestorm lost a bit of cast range levels 1 through 3. Pit of Malice at early levels has a slightly longer cooldown, but also longer root duration. Atrophy Aura gives way less bonus damage at level 1 and 2, but more at max. Lastly, the 15 Firestorm cooldown talent was buffed by 1 second. His win rate barely dropped, to the point that it's probably just statistical noise. If you were spamming Underlord already, keep doing it. This guy is still OP. If you were late to the pit party, now is the time to start because next patch, he'll get nerfed for real. There were more than just hero changes in this patch. Drums, Halberd, and Helm of the Dominator were all nerfed pretty darn hard. -2 all stats to Drums, plus 400 cost to Halberd, and negative HP to the Helm creep. This is on top of all the nerfs Helm had already been getting. Beast and Lycan are crying now. These nerfs weren't even meant for them. It's to nerf Clinks, and they just got caught in the crossfire. Halberd was a big mainstay for offlaners, so that's a bummer. Drum is popular too, but to be fair, it was popular in almost any position hero, so it doesn't hurt offlane as a role, just heroes who are always buying drums like Doom. Soul Ring did get 75 gold cheaper, and offlaners buy the most Soul Rings. Be careful about rushing Soul Ring though, I would not advise that. It does not give HP regen anymore. The Ring of Protection is a great component worth starting with, but we don't want to be trading HP for mana in the early laning stage anyway. Don't just blindly pick it up either if you're already building Greaves and other mana items. Even pro Darkseers were skipping Soul Ring for double Null Talisman instead. All the S tiers are gone except Underlord. Who can I fill the void with now? I mean the empty void in S tier, not Faceless Void, though he too got nerfed. Who can Void's void be filled with? Maybe that's a topic for another video, but for now, offlaners, who's up next? Mars got int growth and 0.5 base mana regen. This is a big deal for one of the most mana-starved heroes there is, especially with that minus spear cooldown talent at 10, which is an amazing talent but requires too much mana to easily use it. The extra mana will add up to be about 3 more spells being cast in the laning stage alone. To top it all off, Soul Ring was the only item to get buffed, and it's one of Mars' core items. Mars has risen over 2% in win rate so far. It's still sub 50, but keep in mind this guy is often played too greedy and relies heavily on skill shots. And I don't think the average pubber can be compared to the average Pro Guide subscriber. The average Pro Guide sub is big-brained and can get a lot of work done on Mars. Silencer is a bold prediction, but here's how. The buff to all levels of Last Word, but especially level 1, made it a seriously painful nuke. Silencer is typically played as support, but his Glaive's ability just screams, "Play me as a core, play me as a core!" Glaives is best used in the offlane because it's an orb walk that allows you to gain control over the offlane creep equilibrium, which normally is hard to do since pulling options are so limited. We could go mid, but there's nothing Silencer wants more than early kills, and kills don't happen nearly as much in mid. Silencer does lack crucial offlane traits like tankiness and disable, but Venomancer proved it's more than possible to make do without those things. While Silencer doesn't have a stun, his host of annoying silences are still legitimate disable. You can also itemize tanky anyway on Silencer. It's not quite as good as doing it on Veno because Veno does need to be up and close to use spells, whereas Silencer does not. But hey, if your team needs auras, then we can just do it anyway. The longer we live, the more stolen intelligence we rack up with Glaives, so there is some synergy worth tanking. We would much rather have an Ags though. With the Last Word buff, we're talking about an incredibly annoying AoE silence and nuke here. It's also great for baiting out enemy purges before using global. This guy carries and typically tops the team in damage done. Enigma is such a pain for the enemy carry. Not because he harasses so much, he doesn't, but because he just denies every range creep with his Eidolons. His win rate is rising, and in pro-level pubs, offlane Enigma has an earth-shattering 57% win rate, and even averaging out every skill level, still has 51% win rate, which is impressive for a micro and teamfight hero. He slows down the OP carries of the patch, and that is such value in and of itself. The hero provides insane late-game lockdown to win these longer matches. Enigma also provides your draft with options. This hero can solo lane easily, and can even hard jungle. Do not hesitate too much on those black holes. You have to use them early and often. Every second your black hole is ready should hurt you. Go use that fight-winning spell every chance you get, even if it's for a solo kill. No items he bought were nerfed and Soul Ring got buffed. Do watch out for his natural predator, Silencer though. Usually Silencer is a support, and the current picking system only allows the mid laner to counterpick Enigma, which not many mid laners do. Okay, those are interesting new options, but what if you've been going to the same restaurant for 10 years and never order something new? Well, that's okay if that's what you like. So if you still want to spam the nerfed heroes, here are some new trends and options so the nerfs don't hurt as bad. For Doom, well, nobody good is doing anything differently. Everything in our Doom guide from before still stands. You still need armor and mana, so we're still doing phase and drums. If you're insanely greedy, you could skip drums for Midas. It's less bad than it was. It's essential we level Devour again at level 3 now instead of Scorched Earth because the HP regen goes from a measly 1 up to an impactful 5. You could also opt for Infernal Blade at 4 now, but we still want to max Scorched Earth first if there's kill potential, which there almost always is once you're 6. If not, like against Wraith King, then you can max Devour first. If you don't want Halberd anymore, you can check out the Ags against key passives like Spectres. Some Darkseers are now going 4-4-1 skill build. Yapzor was the first one to do this, and that was way before this patch. Now that build would be even better. Surge is so much worse now, whereas Vacuum has received so many buffs that make it much more usable, like in terms of mana cost. Also, Surge is actually buffed at early minutes now before you have boots, so 1 point is probably enough to escape anyway. This skill build also makes the ult way more usable because the typical 0-4-4 build has no vacuum to make the wall land. We're seeing the return of Blink Dagger Darkseer as well now that it's not so easy to just run in at light speed. This hero still farms just as well and will reach all those helpful auras and can top it all off with a blink for initiation. Veno is steering away a bit from maxing Plague Wards by 7. In fact, we're seeing the build we gave in our Veno guide, and that is 2 points Gale, max Sting, and then max Wards by 11. Although Sting got nerfed quite a bit, it still scales at the same rate, so we need to max it more than ever to get its full potential. Halberd got a lot worse, and coupled with our mana issues, it's going to be a lot rarer to pick it up on this hero. Instead, maybe try the Ags or Shivas. If you're not going Greaves, you're going to struggle with mana a lot, so consider Veil or Ags to help with that. Magnus is seeing changes by shifting away from mid and carry and back to the offlane. A lot of the aforementioned heroes are trending greedier in builds, which is scary for an offlaner. Usually, you want to be sacrificial. Enter Magnus. Instead of using Empower solely on yourself and stacking just for yourself, focus your energy on those carries who use your Empower well. Don't go Silver Edge and instead look at Greaves, Pipe, Blink, and such options. Still max Empower first, Shockwave second, Skewer last. Do you have any secret offlane technology that's working for you? The pool did get opened up a lot with these nerfs. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be the first one to know about the new meta trends. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.